What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Adam Talks Too Much, the show where we discuss all things movies, TV, and game. But mostly we just talk about movies like today's show. So today we are going to do some awesome topics that are, I'll run down here in a second. But first, I want to introduce our awesome panel, who includes my good friend and writer-director, Brandon Bonnet. Say what's up, Brandon.
Hey, what's up, guys? Excited to be back. Excited for today's show.
And next up is another good buddy of mine who's the guitarist in the band Lowlifes. He also recently told me that his favorite Star Wars was the holiday special. Say what's up to Jackson.
Damn you. It's Jackson. Hey, guys. Hey, the holiday special's great. What can I say?
And up next, it's the vocalist for Avenue, and he recently sent me a text that his favorite moment in Endgame was when Tony Stark died. It's Zach. Say what's up, Zach.
Just that moment when he just shed a tear. Just one tear. That's it.
Awesome. Let's kick it off with our first story today, and it is Top Gun success. The man, and I didn't think that this movie had the potential to do what it did. What did you guys? Are you guys as shocked as I am about like how this movie's doing? I honestly was like, I didn't think it was going to do as good as this. But anyways, it opened at 124 million on its opening weekend and only took a 32% drop on its second. And also the big feat that it had was that the 40s crowd, the 40s and up, have all returned in big droves with it going up about 55% on its on this turnout for this film. Massive take for it, and I can't believe it. I think this film's going to have a huge ton of legs here. So let's pass it over to Brandon. Brandon, have you seen the movie, and what are your thoughts on its success that it's had so far?
Oh man, I'm excited for Tom. That's awesome because he kind of had a lot riding on this. But I was nervous until the first 5 minutes sitting down in the theater seeing it, and I was like, oh, they made a really cool movie. And I saw it with the midnight crowd, even though it was like 10 o'clock, but and it was a packed theater. Everybody was having a blast, and everybody that I know that's seen it, I've seen it twice now. I took my old man to go see it, and he's definitely the 40 up demographic, and he enjoyed it as well. It's just a really cool movie, and I see there being a sequel to this probably pretty soon. I don't know, but I'm just excited. It pretty much means we get more Mission Impossibles at least.
Right, and I don't know if any of you guys heard of it, but they are in some legal trouble with the rights of the movie, with the original. There's an author to an article that was written about Top Gun. The first one, he's since passed away, but his family are looking for some cheddar cheese on that on that Top Gun money. But I wonder if there will be a sequel, or they'll just pay them out and then that's the end of it. But anyways, Jackson, what did you think? Have you seen the movie? And what are your thoughts on the success?
I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm going to. I haven't had a moment to myself to go in like a week. But it's crazy. I mean, you wouldn't think that Top Gun is like a franchise that people, I haven't heard anyone going, oh man, we need another Top Gun movie. So you wouldn't think that it would be a film that everyone would come out in droves for. But it shows you what good trailers and good word of mouth can do, because as soon as they started showing that film, I was seeing reviews from people saying that it was better than the original. They couldn't say enough good things about it, and the trailers were spectacular. I mean, I haven't even seen the original Top Gun, and I was like, wow, this trailer looks great. So it's pretty crazy that this film is doing so well, and it makes me kind of mad because I wanted Blade Runner 2049 to do this well.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. And that wasn't even during like a pandemic time period. You know what I mean? It's
I know. People just didn't care. And the marketing for that the studio didn't put as much love behind it as they did behind Top Gun Maverick. But it's awesome that it's doing so well. And honestly, it does nothing but boost up the numbers that theaters are getting, and I can't wait to experience it in a movie theater. Honestly, it's going to be a spectacle to behold.
Yes, I also have not seen the movie, but I want to see. I honestly just thought like this movie was gonna be dog shit, and then it whenever I started hearing all these great things, I was like, wait, what? And it just also to me like I can't believe that I'm so glad they held on to the movie and didn't post it onto and like some streaming service. They kept it. It was the smartest move they could have done, and clearly it's paid off. Look at the success. It is breaking records. Tom's career is strong, meaning that Paramount, if they're worried about the Mission Impossible franchise, they have nothing to worry about. The health of the theaters is good, and we're on a good path at least for going forward. Zach, have you seen the movie, and what are your thoughts on the success of the film?
So I haven't seen the movie just yet. I plan on it like Jackson. I just haven't had a moment. There's been a lot going on, so haven't had an opportunity. But it's been almost 40 years since the last one came out.
35
35 years. Like most sequels don't get this kind of action, like this kind of
revival,
exactly, and it's amazing to see, that something that can come back and have such a big impact on things. Because just reading things about what the cast had to do in order to film and like I think I read that Tom Cruise had them go to like flight school, and Tom Cruise himself is a pilot.
Yeah,
like, that's insane. That's absolutely insane, and so it's a testament to what they do.
Yeah,
so I'm excited to see it.
It's good that it paid off for them. Like, can you imagine if they opened to like 15 million and all these guys had to do all this stuff? I mean, I guess they all got paid, but it's still like you're an actor and you're a director and all these things, and you want your movie to get seen. So if you like did all that work and then no one saw your movie, it's probably such a big bummer. It also makes me think. I know The Matrix wasn't beloved like this movie is getting, like all the love, but it makes me wonder what kind of money it could have done if it didn't do Day and Day. Like, could have done a little bit better. I don't know, maybe not, maybe those are two different of things, but it just makes me think something from like the early 2000s, like The Matrix was so popular. I don't know, maybe it's a different tale, but it just does make me think about The Matrix a little bit. Is there any other movies that come to you guys' mind that could potentially have success like Top Gun? Brandon, does anything come to your mind?
Like that's already been released?
No, like a sequel like from like the 30 years ago.
Gotcha.
Does anything come to mind we could revive?
I think we got that new Halloween movie coming out. I think sequels are big in demand now. That movie's gonna make money. Laugh at me. That movie's still gonna make money, dude.
I didn't laugh. I choked. I
hate you so much.
It was joking.
I choked on my popcorn kernel that broke my tooth.
Yeah. I sat next to you in Halloween Kills. I know. But I'm just saying, like, sequels are high in demand, and what's old is cool again. Like, that's why we got a new Halloween. That's honestly, I think that's why we got a new Top Gun. They're like, hey, we haven't done a sequel. What if we do it right? I think if they keep this mentality, anything could come back. I know they're talking about a new Nightmare on Elm Street with what's his name as Freddy returning.
Really?
They're doing Scream 6. So sequels are back. It's just what sticks and what doesn't. But I think if you go in and try, what they did well with Top Gun is they got a director and Tom were on the same page. They made a good movie first.
Yeah.
Like that's what they did. They made a good movie. And is some of it a repeat of the first one? A little bit, because you kind of need that for the new generation. But it, at the end of the day, it was a good movie. So if Hollywood can keep making good movies, we're going to see a lot more of these.
How is it possible to create a film like Top Gun that's like people are saying is better than the first one? You know what I mean? It seems like to be surpassing its quality and its, almost its. I feel like Top Gun, the first one, is sort of. I haven't seen it, but it seems silly to me when I hear about it. Like people like it in a joking way, like, you know what I mean? It seems like people kind of mock it. Quality. Like this one seems like it's legit.
Even though it was a success, it almost has like a cult quality about it. Like people are really into that movie.
Yeah.
And it feels like a giant music video, so I see why it's cool. Really? But that's why the soundtrack's so huge.
It's of its
the
time.
Soundtrack, the soundtrack was pretty good. That's one of
you may not have seen the movie, but you've heard that soundtrack.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I remember from that movie was listening to that soundtrack. I'm not gonna lie, The highway to the danger zone.
The only thing I can think about is MacGruber mocking those type movies where he's. Have you guys seen that MacGruber scene where he's like making love with whoever, Kristen Wiig, and it's like baby, ba-da-ba, and it's like all these close-up shots. That's the only thing I can think. Is I think I heard they were mocking that from Top Gun.
Yes, they very much are.
It's so campy. It's so easy.
Confusing sex scene when you're a kid watching that movie. You're like, that's what you do? Like, you don't. It's very weird.
Oh, that's what that looks like.
Jeez. Well, I look forward to seeing the film with everybody else, and hopefully Zach and Jackson do as well. It was
I do.
Yeah,
I do. I think that like Brandon was saying, I think it opens it up for more, to maybe like spin-offs, like just something that and I hope they do it tastefully, because I mean this movie seems to be done tastefully, where it kind of it hints at the the first one, but it's also its own movie, and so I think that's what makes it as good as it is.
Awesome. Yeah, let's move on to the next topic here, and our second topic is about Scrubs the movie. Sorry, I'm trying to get this teleprompter to move. Sorry, I'm trying to teleprompter today.
Teleprompter.
I got this. Whoever's running this freaking thing. Anyways,
sorry.
Our next topic is about Scrubs the movie, or possibly happening. The cast of the Scrubs was recently in Austin, Texas, at a con, and they were at a panel, and they were asked, would you guys be open to do a revival, a reunion, or some sort of thing like that? And the showrunner of Scrubs, who is Bill Lawrence, is that his name? Yeah. He who's the creator of Ted Lasso as well. He was up there and he said it's definitely a possibility, and if anything, just based on his schedule, it could be a film that would be the most ideal. But usually I don't get excited for TV shows turn into movies unless you're Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who are turning 21 Jump Street into film. But this did excite me when I heard about this, and if they freaking do Arrested Development movie, that would make me excited, even though maybe that's run its course at this point. But regardless, Jackson, what do you think about? Did you watch Scrubs in its prime? I would think that at this point, with streaming and Bill's success with Ted Lasso, I think that Scrubs is probably more popular than it was when it was on TV. But did you watch the show, and what would you think about a film?
Absolutely. Yeah, I loved Scrubs. I watched it all the time. That was, I think, my first Zach Braff introduction was Scrubs.
The world as well.
One of many. He was actually he had a cameo in the newest Obi-Wan episode.
I heard that. Yeah.
But no, yeah, that would be awesome. I am such a huge fan of Ted Lasso. It is such a great show, such a feel-good show. It just makes you smile. And there's not many of those these days. Everything's kind of dark and dreary, so it's nice to watch something like that just raises your spirits. But yeah, I love Scrubs. I love the idea of them doing a movie. I know that they said that they wanted to do like a season, but none of them have enough time to do something fleshed out like that. So a movie would be more in the cards. But I'm more than willing, and I think pretty much everyone on the cast is kind of open for doing it. So yeah, I'm excited for it. If they go through with it and it happens, I will be there. I will go see it.
The cast definitely doesn't got any. They don't have anything going on, so they could definitely be there for it. Zach may be the only successful one. And he doesn't got much going on, but they do have a successful podcast called Fake Friends, Real Friends, Fake Doctors, and it's very successful. So I think I can see it. I don't know who owns the rights, if it is still NBC or ABC or Disney or whoever owns it. I can see them making this film for a streaming service. I could see that actually happening. But Brandon, I think you did watch this show, and what do you think about it becoming a film?
Oh man, I'm all for it. I like Zach Braff. I know that's kind of weird to say, but the same time I saw, this made me sound like a film snob. When I saw Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, I remember doing a double feature with that and Garden State. And man, Garden State's a great movie. Like everybody wants to shit on it now. Sorry for cursing, but people just like it was a big deal when it came out. That soundtrack was a big deal, and that's what I liked about Scrubs, especially in the as it got into when Zach became more of a success. He really shaped what that show became, and there's some emotional stuff in that show. I'm excited. I see it being something for a streaming service. I don't see it being like a theater. I couldn't see it playing in a theater personally, but it's kind of like that show Psych. They've done some movies for that. I could see something like that happening. I love Psych, and Zach, I hope you love Psych.
He loves it.
I do.
It's such a good show. But I could see it playing in that realm where it'd go really well for that. And yeah, I don't think they're up. The cast is probably up to coming back. Like I don't know why they couldn't do a full season. But okay.
My question is how well did Bob's Burgers do? Does anyone know how well that did over the past 2 weekends? Does anyone know if
I haven't heard anything about it?
Yeah, because it would make me wonder, like, if that, because that's a popular, even though it's more relevant in like as of recently, but I wonder how that movie's doing, and if it does go to theaters, would it have similar success as that? I agree with you, Brandon. It's a streaming movie for sure. It reads streaming movie all over it, like that movie. Yeah. Anyways,
that would be a hit on streaming.
Yeah,
like that would be that's what you want. Like that's what I would want from streaming. Oh, a Scrubs movie? Yeah. I'll hit play and see how this goes.
That's sign upable. Like, yeah, I'll watch it. I'll watch a Peacock ad, or who I don't know who owns it. Maybe ABC still owns the rights to that show.
ABC, so Disney is Disney. Who owned it. I don't know who owns it now.
So it's a Hulu movie at this point. Zach, what do you think about the show and it becoming possibly a film?
I mean, I was kind of late to the show, so I it was I want to say about 5 years ago is whenever I first watched the show, and so I was a little late to it, but I loved it. I absolutely the dramedy kind of like you have the silliness, but also those serious moments. That you're like, oh man, like that makes me kind of sad, but also and then the next scene it makes you laugh, and so it was I love the show. I mean, so and me being a Psych fan, I love the Psych movies, and so I'm always up for TV
shows.
Psych
has movies. That show has a movie.
Yeah,
it has like.
That's the reason I got Peacock, dude. Was for the Psych movies.
Yes.
Multiple movies for that show.
Yeah, they did too. No, one of the main cast members had cancer when they were making the first movie, but he ended up beating it, so they did a second movie to kind of make up for it.
Well, Zach says there's three movies, Brandon. There's 3.
Oh, is there 3? I'm behind now. Yeah.
Oh, that is my comfort show. I watch, like, not to sidetrack, but I watch that show probably every other month, and I just go through the season. It's one of my favorite. And,
I like how weird it gets towards the end.
Me too, and the Scrubs kind of reminds me of that. So I am all for a movie. Anything that that's. I'm a TV guy, so. Yeah. If you can turn something into a movie, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I got a free 2 hours on a Saturday. I'll throw that into the mix.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was a very casual viewer in the sense that a lot of my friends growing up liked it, and I watched it when I could, but I didn't like seek it out. Like The Office was probably, and like Avatar: The Last Airbender were 2 shows that I actively seeked to watch, but Scrubs wasn't one of those for me. I don't know why, but I like the show. I think it's a smart show, well written. I think I don't know if it ages. I'm not sure. I should rewatch it, see how it ages. Like how does I know that
it ages really well.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. But I would be interested in seeing this. Just based. I don't know. I heard that ninth season was horrible. Isn't James Franco's brother in that?
Yes.
Yeah, they completely. It was like a whole new cast. It was really weird.
Really interesting. Anyways, it sounds interesting. I hope to see it just because I like that the creator of the shows, the Ted Lasso guy, is just. I think he seems like a good dude too. He just seems like a good guy, and I'm happy to see them all just win. But anyways, let's move on to our third topic, which is interesting that we're talking about a project that's ending up on streaming, because this one definitely should not be on streaming. It's the trailer for Prey. It dropped today. It is Dan Trachtenberg's I don't even know what you even call it. It's like sequel. I'm not sure.
Second feature.
It's a prequel.
It's a second feature. His first was 10 Cloverfield Lane, but it's for the franchise of Predator. I was super disappointed to hear that Dan Trachtenberg pulled out of Uncharted, because I always thought his take.
Yeah.
I think he's just an amazing director. So I would have loved to see him do Uncharted. I would love to see him do anything. Like Brandon was texting today. He was like, that dude has been attached to like every project in Hollywood, from like Fast and Furious, and he was attached to
Uncharted. He didn't get along with Vin Diesel. That's why he didn't work on the Fast movies, apparently. Yes. He's supposed to do, I think, the 8th one or something.
I've been cheering for Dan since, me and Brandon used to watch the Totally Rad Show, and I don't know if you guys saw that show, but it was like a YouTube show, and I've just been rooting for the dude. So when I see anything he's doing, I think he's directed some episodes of The Boys, and just small things. And when he finally got his first feature with 10 Cloverfield Lane, I was like, finally, let's see what his chops are, because we've all seen his short film, the Portal one. So when that popped up, super pumped on it. I thought it was a great movie. And then this trailer comes out, and wow, I mean, I was blown away by it, and cannot believe that it is a freaking Hulu film. I cannot believe it. It is so disappointing to hear that. And I don't know, maybe they are doing a theatrical run, but it's probably not going to show up where I live. So I'm super bummed that I can't catch this, because that was intense. It was cool. I love anything Native American, bows and arrows, all that stuff I just love all that. So to see that Predator, in his cloak running through that field, that shot of him running through the field, and you just see it like moving, that looked terrifying. So I haven't seen any of these other films. The closest I've gotten to Predator is in Fortnite. Predator was in it for a second, so I knew he could go cloaked. So that's as far close as I've got to it. But Zach, what was your thoughts on the trailer and the franchise overall?
So I was really excited that they, whenever I heard that they were doing another Alien, I'm glad it's a prequel, right? Because nobody's really touched on that quite yet, and because my dad was a really big fan of the Predator, the Alien, that whole genre, and so I grew up watching those movies. I watched Alien versus Predator. I watched the one where they were stranded on the island, or the planet. All right, that one was pretty good. I liked it a lot, and so I'm excited to see what they do with the prequel, and if this will jumpstart the franchise again, because I know for a while it was kind of going downhill a little bit.
Dead in the water.
So, yeah. And so I'm excited, because again, growing up on these movies, it brings a certain nostalgia along with my dad, and because again, we used to watch those movies all the time.
Jackson, what's your thoughts on the trailer?
Oh man, I mean, I was vaguely aware that this project was happening, but I wasn't. To be honest, the Predator movie was not very good to me, so I wasn't really looking forward to any new installments. So whenever I heard that they were doing another Predator movie, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. I did enjoy Predators. The one with Adam Brody that Adrian Brody.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to not like, but watching this trailer, it sold me 100%, and I am so ready to watch it. This just
on your iPad.
It's not.
You're ready to watch it on your iPad.
Yeah.
Put it in a freaking theater.
Watch this on the small screen on my iPhone in the middle of the night. No, I just, the Predator concept is kind of one where I always wonder where they're going to take it whenever they're trying to put a new spin on it, which I guess the answer to that last time was like, we're going to make a really big Predator. Really big. A taller one. But the idea of taking the concept and rewinding and going to the past where humans can only fight with handmade weapons against this thing is such a great idea.
It really is.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know who the genius is that was sitting at the table that was like, I have an idea, but hats off to him, because that is 100% the way they need to go with it. I'm excited to see Amber Midthunder in it in a lead role. She was in Legion, the show Legion, and she was really good in that. So it's going to be cool to see her in like a leading role in a movie. I'm sad that it's just going to streaming for sure.
Yeah.
But man, that trailer was suspenseful. It was that with the bear, the scene with the bear where it, like,
oh, that was crazy. That was
seeing him
like a silhouette holding it up in the air. I was like, oh my God, I'm in. I'm going to watch this 100%.
Just real quick, everyone say, what's up, Josh? He's watching.
What's up, Josh?
What's up, Josh?
What's up, buddy?
You're my favorite, Josh.
Brandon, what's your thoughts on this trailer? And I know, wait, are you? Well, just tell me if you're a fan of a fan of this franchise as well. But what's your thoughts on this trailer and the franchise?
Yeah, I like the franchise. Like, I don't love it. It's not Aliens. I don't think it's as good as the Alien movies. But that said, Predator's fun, man. Even that last, the last Predator movie, I know a lot of people hated it. Dude, I had a big bucket of popcorn and saw explosions in space, so I was pretty entertained by it. So it was fun for me. So that's why, but this trailer, like, I'm kind of coming at it the opposite. I knew Dan Trachtenberg was doing the new Predator movie, and I was like, I remember, I think it was you that told me, and I was like, oh, he's going to knock it out of the park. Like, this guy's good. And if you haven't seen his short film Portals, which I think everybody's seen that, but 10 Cloverfield Lane shouldn't have been that good of a movie.
No,
the sequel to Cloverfield should not have been that good. And I love Cloverfield. But John Goodman deserved the Academy Award, and that's just showing. And that was still kind of a modest budget. I'm not sure what the budget for this Predator. It looks like a pretty big budget movie that I'm gonna watch on Hulu, and that sucked. Like,
sucks. Yeah.
I want to see this on the big screen. Like, I would pay to go. Like, I want to go get popcorn and watch this movie, and I don't think it's gonna happen. I looked more into it. It looks like they're pretty set on release on Hulu only. So it'd be cool if it played in a theater, and maybe I misread something. But as far as I go, this is going straight to Hulu.
Does it diminish your excitement? I mean, do you think it is a quality reason is why it's a Hulu release? Do you think they've seen the film and it's not good? Do you think that's it?
Good, man. That trailer is
trailers
good.
Are good. But I've seen the trailer for Batman vs Superman, and
I've heard nothing. I know the shoot went super well. I know, like, they were happy with what he was turning in, because I was listening to another movie podcast where they were talking about it being made. And, like, I think it's just a deal. Like, Hulu's like, we need something, give it to us. Like, I really don't think it's like, oh, this movie's not going to make money. Because I want to say this still was a pretty modest budget for a Predator movie.
It has to be a pretty high budget. So why dump it on to a streaming service? Sorry,
isn't Predator a Disney property now?
Yes, that's Hulu, because of Hulu owns the. Disney owns Hulu.
So that's probably why. And that's probably why, and because of the fact that the Predator movies have kind of like Adam said, dead in the water. They try to. This is a test. This is like, okay, let's see what this does.
But if it's a test, why dump it onto a streaming service where you can't actually test in a good way what the audience reaction is? Because I feel like this could do good.
I think
money.
Critics are gonna love it.
I think this is gonna make good money. I mean, it would have made good money in theaters. Like,
it looks like it was a Hulu film before it was filmed.
Oh,
so
really? It was the start of it.
Yeah, so it was pretty much from the beginning signed off to them.
So I'm wondering if this trailer has a good reaction. Could we see a possible theatrical move, maybe a limited release to see? I don't know. My hopes are just I want to see this freaking thing in the biggest screen possible, because it looks.
If Morbius can get released twice,
just give us Prey, please.
Exactly. Come on.
And I want my freaking boy Dan to have the most success ever. I feel like after 10 Cloverfield Lane, it's been a tough road for him. I mean, he's had The Boys and whatnot, but like. I think the other thing he was doing was like a video game cinematic cut thing, and I was like, Dan, come on, man. Like, let's, I just want him to win.
Dude, make some movies.
Yeah, I want him to win. Yeah. And when Brandon sent this trailer in the chat, I was like, oh, thank goodness. Like, this looks great. I just hope it's not. Oh, I guess Jackson saying it was from the beginning. Its origin was a Hulu film. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. That tells everything we need to know. Hey, so did was Shane Black involved in that most recent one, Brandon? Like the one with Michael Key? Wasn't he in that?
Yeah, he directed it.
Shane Black directed and wrote that one, and it wasn't good.
Yeah. Oh man, well, it got edited because someone got Me Too'd in the. That was in it.
Right. That's
so
right.
A big controversy came out about it. I don't want to go down that road because it sucks.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty bad, but
I do remember all that drama though. When was that film? 2018.
that hurt it. That's what hurt it right there. But
Dang.
also, maybe I kind of like maybe what Zach was saying. Maybe this is a chance for them to be like, well, let's see if a Predator movie can be successful. Like,
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's weird.
I'm bummed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I just want Dan to direct more things. That's what I hope this, because if he makes money at the box office, he gets to do whatever he wants. I hope.
Yeah. And did 10 Clover Lane not make money? Is that what we're
It did
saying?
good. I wonder if it did great. I'm not for sure.
I would love to know the budget of that movie versus the success of it, like how well it did.
I love that.
Yeah, did y'all catch it in theaters? Did anyone catch that movie in theaters?
Yeah, I watched it.
I did.
I did not.
I caught it
watched it.
on iPad.
Yeah.
I got it. No, I think it was like a family watch.
Are you
like
sure you love the theater, bro?
Hey, it wasn't my fault. I can't even remember what year was that released. Anyone know? 2016, 2017?
16,
Something
17.
like that.
Yeah, it's probably the year I got married or something. That's why
16, I think. Maybe
17. Yeah, I don't know. I was late to that one.
2016.
2016. Okay, that was when I was making Four Eyes. I think it's probably released in March. That one, you know what that reminds me of? That film is A Quiet Place. In the sense of like its release, the way it was released, and like things like that. I feel like it gives me vibes of A Quiet Place in a weird way. But excited for Dan. Excited for this this new. Hopefully, it does really. How do you even make metrics other than like, oh, it got 1 million viewers? Like, I don't even know how you do that on Hulu. But we're all probably gonna watch it. Talk about it.
I have a way to track it for sure.
Yeah, I just don't feel like it's like, they could have made good money with this. Is what's frustrating, I guess, for me. But whatever. There's bigger people over our heads on this. But anyways, our last topic here, we're going to be having an open discussion about my favorite place on the planet, which is the movie theaters. It is my second home. Whenever back in the day, I haven't been there since I had a kid like I used to, but it is a place that is sort of a sanctuary for me. And I wanted to go around and have a quick discussion with all the guys about their favorite or best experience in a movie theater. For me, what comes to mind is Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. There's a scene in that film where she pulls the gum out of the toilet, and the whole reaction from the audience was just the best thing on the planet. So that comes to mind. Seeing The Dark Knight Rises the day after it opened, I just remember sitting in the theater, and it was pretty empty, honestly. But it was like a 10 a.m. screening. And I just remember just bawling my eyes out at that movie. And I saw Infinity War with Jackson in LA, and that was really cool. Like when everyone's getting snapped, and the crowd's reaction to that, or even more recently with Spider-Man Far From Home, whenever Andrew came through and Toby came through, the reaction. But I think the best experience for me at a theater was when I saw Tenet after. I guess I deeply believed that the theaters were going to be closed forever. I was scared that this place that I have dreamt of my entire life, or most of my life, putting a film in this place, I thought it was going to be gone. And this place that I had so much joy, it brought me so much joy. My first movie in a theater, from what I can remember, was the film Hook with Robin Williams. And the idea, the concept, or even the thought of it disappearing overnight because of the pandemic just freaked me out. So going to see Tenet at a Cinemark and getting popcorn and smelling it, just that feeling was like this thing that maybe we didn't take for granted maybe we did this thing we thought would always be around, and it survived the streaming stuff. It had survived all these things. It was still profitable, and and then this pandemic kind of took, had to close down for all those reasons. I was like, man, we're gonna lose it. So being in the theater, seeing Tenet was so cool, so emotional, and I was just so happy to be there. So for me, that was the biggest movie theater experience for me, the best one. There's all these other great ones, but just being in a theater with people is the best way to view anything. But so Brandon, what's yours?
Oh man, it's hard to name just one. There's just so much. You gave so many good examples yourself. Hook was a big one. That was the first one I remember like following. But I was such a dorky kid growing up. We had a dollar theater here, and between the ages of like 10, no, that wasn't that young, probably 12 to 15, my parents would drop me off and just give me a handful of quarters, and I got in good with the manager there, and he'd let me see whatever R-rated movie I wanted to see. And at the time, it felt like the coolest thing in the world. Now I realize he's a very irresponsible adult. But now I think one of the best memories I ever had was when we went and saw Jeff Who Lives at Home at Movie 16. Nobody was in the theater. I was so excited for this movie, and that movie just lived up to every expectation I had for a movie at the time. I was like, man, this is going to be good. But I remember walking out and be like, this was incredible. Like, I'm a different person after watching that movie. It made me a different person, and that's what I loved about it. Just one of those I go to. I've had many moments like that, but that was the one where I was like, oh, I'm different than when I came in this theater. Like, this movie made me a better person. The whole movie's about being a better person, so it's not too far of a stretch, but that was my favorite. It was an awesome experience.
Awesome. Zach, what is your favorite or best movie theater experience?
So because of Iron Man being my favorite Marvel character, Endgame was the most emotional, especially when that, like you had mentioned the snap earlier, especially that snap. Like the crowd just was like,
right.
Like we knew somebody was gonna go, but it's seeing it firsthand, and that scene was perfect, and so that was one of the most. That was probably the most emotional, scene that that I've had in the theater. But I think back to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the second one back in the '90s. Seeing that one was amazing. The Secret of the Ooze, I loved it. That's my favorite movie. Awesome. I love the Ninja Turtles. So. But as you were saying, it was very scary to feel like, we may not have this, especially for even that length of time. It was very sad to be separated from that, and it's good that we're headed in a direction where we can all kind of be together in theaters and get those reactions, especially like with No Way Home, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Jackson, you got a moment for us?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. First of all, I was gonna say, since we were talking about Hook, one of my favorite movies of all time, and I have these Hook top in a package that I've never opened them, so it's one of my favorite movies anyway.
Wow, that's awesome.
So good.
But it's funny that you mentioned it, Adam, because I put on my list whenever we saw Avengers Infinity War together, because that was such an awesome experience.
It really was.
Getting to see, I mean, I love watching movies with you. Whenever we went to go see Bumblebee, it wasn't my favorite movie of all time, but that was so much fun.
Yeah, we saw Gone Girl together as well.
Yeah. Oh, and I love Gone Girl. But
me too.
Probably the ones that come to mind, and I'm sure everyone's tired of me talking about Star Wars. Like, shut up, Jackson. But whenever I have a really distinct memory of seeing Attack of the Clones in theaters with my dad whenever I was younger, and specifically the scene when Yoda comes out and starts lightsaber battling with Count Dooku. Yeah, it's just, nowadays I watch it and I'm like, oh, this movie's fine. But whenever I was a kid, I was like,
this is amazing.
Yoda's fighting with a lightsaber.
Finally.
And my dad and I and just everyone freaking out. It's one of those memories that I hold fondly in my heart. That, and there was there's a theater in Hollywood back whenever I lived in LA called the El Capitan Theater, and it's owned by Disney. And they do a lot of Disney premieres there. And every year that a new Star Wars movie comes out, I didn't get to do it for Rise of Skywalker because I had shows with the band, but they do an overnight marathon where they show all the Star Wars movies leading up to the new one, and then you see the new one like I think 30 or 40 minutes before everyone else does. And I did it for Force Awakens and The Last Jedi and Rogue One. And the time that sticks out most in my mind is probably The Last Jedi one, just because I went with James from my old band Here Lies the Hero, who Adam is also friends with. And it was one of those times where it was just the perfect time in my life where I was getting to see Star Wars again in theaters, and I was really excited, and the crowd was really excited. They brought out a bunch of guests, like Ewan McGregor came out and talked about Star Wars, and there was Ray Park, who did Darth Maul, came out and talked about and did like lightsaber tricks on stage. And then Rian Johnson came out before the movie and like talked to the crowd. I have videos on my phone where I'm like screaming. Anyway, I'm like, Rian Johnson's here. And his producer, I forget his name. He was there as well. But yeah, that's probably my favorite time in theaters, was just because everyone was so excited and I was just on the edge of my seat all night waiting for the new one to come out. And yeah, it was just one of those special memories that I cherish. Theaters are just such magical places. When it's not people talking a mess about the movie that you're watching next to you.
Yeah, gosh.
That could really ruin it. But I mean, it really is, whenever you're in the right crowd, it's just like a moment suspended in time, you know?
Right. It really is. I think there's no place like the movies, and I think there's a generation who is missing it and a generation who's forgotten about it. Like there's like the younger who don't care really about it. They're like, I could just see it on my phone or whatever, or they'd rather watch TikTok. And then there's the generation who's like, don't want to get up and go. I think like I think about my dad or somebody. He hasn't been to the movies in years, and he used to love it. And he just like, I could just catch it on streaming or whatever. And I think I just don't want it to die. I love it. We all three love it. All four, whatever number it is. We all love this place. And it's so special to us. And I think it's special to millions and millions of people. And I think, maybe it's a price thing or whatever, but being there at the movies, smelling the popcorn, getting your candy, your Coke, whatever, and sitting there and just waiting, and whatever, Maria Menounos comes on, and she's giving trivia, whatever it may be, whatever screening you're on. And remember back in the day, the radio would play trivia, and this soundtrack is from Star Wars, blah, 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 whatever. And they would play these, these little things, whatever it is. All those things are so special to that experience only. You don't get that. I guess TV has a little bit of that with cable, like me and Brandon were talking about, like having commercial breaks and stuff. You get nostalgia from that, but there's really nothing like seeing a movie at the biggest screen possible. Your TV's never going to be like, your TV's never going to make up for them. You know what I mean? Like sitting at home is not the same as being in the freaking theater, and you cannot make popcorn as good as freaking Cinemark. No, but they're wizards over there. You know what I mean? So there's nothing like this, the experience at a theater. And I'm glad to hear about Top Gun, our top story on today's show, having so much success and bringing in the crowd that I was afraid would not return. I was afraid that group, if they got the opportunity, would not show back up at the theater. And, last year with HBO Max trying to kill off my beautiful theaters by doing a day and day, I'm glad they failed. I think that was another proof in the pudding that theaters are the best. You know what I mean? No one watched their thing. No one went to the theater to see it. So it's like, you know what I mean? So I'm just happy
to watch Dune at home.
Why would you do that? Yeah, like, and why would you piss off every amazing filmmaker that you have on your roster just for a marketing play? You know what I mean? Like, it's bad business, and I'm glad to see they failed at it. But what are your guys' snack of choice at your theater of choice? Let's start with you, Zach. What's your snack of choice when you go to the theaters?
It used to be Red Vines. I'm a Red Vine guy. Twizzlers can suck it. That's all I gotta say. Red Vines all the way. And so
you're a Red Vine guy? I don't even think I've put one of those in my mouth.
Dude, they're amazing. Way better than Twizzlers. Way better. And so that was my snack of choice. I think Regal was the only one that had that last time. But last time I went to a Regal, they didn't have it anymore. Target is the only place that I can find those.
You know why?
And then Costco.
You know why? Because they suck.
No, they don't. They're the best. You suck.
So when you go to the theater, that's all you get is the Red Vine and right into the picture.
It used to be. I get myself a Dr. Pepper or a Coke depending on how I'm feeling, and then I like the little Crunch a Bunch, the Bunch of Crunch.
Oh yeah.
And so I used to like those. I don't typically get snacks anymore, and I need to be careful. Yeah, I really don't get snacks anymore, but I have to be careful with the drinks because I tend to drink too fast, and like during the middle of like the most intense scene, I gotta go to the bathroom, and I'm like, I gotta hold it.
You gotta go TT in the middle in the picture.
I know it's not a good thing. So, but yeah, that's definitely Red Vines. If you haven't tried them, try them. They're amazing.
Bad. Okay. Don't screw me on that. Jackson, what's your snack of choice at your theater of choice?
Reese's Pieces.
Oh, wow.
I love some Reese's Pieces. That and a large Coca-Cola.
I'm surprised about all these candies. No popcorn for you guys? What's going on?
I'm not popcorn. It's good, but it gets stuck in my gums and it hurts.
I'm so sorry that the popcorn can't avoid your gums, guy.
Gives me a rumbly tumbly.
What? I cannot go to the theater with you guys ever. I would want to punch every single one of you.
I would get a popcorn just for you, Adam. I would do it just for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to make you feel comfortable.
Yeah, because I feel weird, like communist much, you know what I mean?
Communist.
Jesus. Who doesn't get popcorn? Nazis. Definitely don't get popcorn.
Nazis,
Brandon, what's your snack of choice?
Hate freedom.
You ate freedom.
Dude, small popcorn, pickle, large Diet Dr. Pepper.
That's it. Preach it.
That's all you need,
Preach
man.
it.
That's enough. You got your sweet and sour, your salty, and then you got your soda. I don't believe in anything else. Like, you can have candy. Candy's fine. If you get a hot dog, you're a monster. Like, just stop. That's why I'm not an Alamo Drafthouse person. I don't want a meal. I just want my popcorn. I want my... I don't need an IPA while I go watch a movie. Sorry.
You're a son of a bitch if you're ordering pizza at a theater. I'm like, what? You could go to better places serve pizza. You don't need to get it here, pal. Like, you don't need to get your... I mean, me and Brady were talking about nachos is fine. Like, hot dogs, sure. But pizza, chicken wings... like when
nachos
you see people...
are loud, man.
They are loud.
Nachos are loud.
The quietest part of the movie, you just...
Oh, yeah. Because... The nachos are...
You get it ready before the movie starts, or you don't get nachos. That's the rule.
Is anyone else get triggered? Like, it's almost like what do I own this theater? But does anyone else get triggered if someone walks into the theater late? Like, you're gonna show up late to the party? Like, like, does anyone else get like offended?
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
What were you doing?
What's going on?
Yeah.
Get out.
Leave. What were you doing to show up? Like, what could you possibly be more important than this film starting?
You want a ticket?
But my dad and I, we went to go see, what's that film where it's a horror film? It Follows. It Follows.
Oh, yeah.
We went to go see It Follows in theaters, and there were these three people sitting like a row and a half behind us that were talking loudly throughout the entire movie and laughing and like having conversations, and like we told the theater people about it and they didn't do anything about it. So we were literally, I was just steaming the entire time. I was just sitting there like,
oh no.
Probably the worst theater experience I've ever had.
Oh yeah, let's do that real quick. Worst theater experience. Mine was during the second time I saw Tenet. There was a group of people who sat next to me. Don't know why. The whole theater was practically empty. Three seats next to me, right next, like taking up my shoulder, like my arm space. And they proceeded to pull out their phones. They were late, by the way. I was pissed for Christopher Nolan. I wish I had his number. I'd be like, did you know some people showed up late to your picture? Anyways, they sat next to me. They pulled out their phones and they started like watching videos. Not even kidding. In the theater. Like, I was shocked. I'm like, I barely second screening since the pandemic started and someone's watching. Anyways, I ended up moving all the way, like one of those people. I ended up moving all the way down to like a different row, but I was so mad. Brandon, do you have the worst theater experience at all for you?
Man, it was kind of bad, but good at the same time. When I went and saw the new Candyman, a homeless man wandered in, and he was just sitting there, and he was quiet for the most part. But anytime he thought Candyman was coming, he would yell very loudly, "Oh man, is this Candyman? Is this Candyman?" And it kind of made the movie better. Like, it was just like, I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know. Like, I didn't have the heart to kick him out. Like, I didn't go tell on him or anything. But just anytime it gets suspenseful, oh man, here comes Candyman. Here comes Candyman. And I was like, dude, I love this guy. I love this guy. So I try to make the best of it.
Zach, you got one?
I mean, honestly, it's just any time that there's people talking, or like whenever there's like a funny moment, but they laugh like it's the funniest thing they've ever heard in their life. And it's really not that funny. Calm down. What are you doing? They're like,
oh, you're bothered funny, by happiness. Okay, it's probably those red vines.
Exactly, those red vines make you, but it's those over, like it's hard to explain because it's not the laughter itself.
It's just like
well, I used to say that until I saw This Is the End at theaters, and I had to leave the theater during that part where they're talking about who spanked off to my magazine. That whole scene, I had to leave the theater because I thought it was the funniest thing, and I still do. Like, I could not stop. I was going crazy. I was like, I've got to leave. I'm making an ass out of myself. Like, I've got to go.
You have common courtesy, and that was movies like that are meant to be laughed at. But when it's just like, what was it? What did we go see in theaters? I think it was Multiverse of Madness, where this lady literally behind us was just laughing at like the worst part, and I'm like, there's some like funny parts, like there's some quips in there, but it's not that funny, lady. And honestly, a part of me wanted to go sit up next to her and be like, hey, shut the fuck up. Sorry, I'm cursing, but
you're good.
Hey,
you're good.
Like, come on.
It's not that funny.
What are you laughing at?
This one time, I think this was like 2008 or something. I went and saw can't even remember what movie. It had to be an intense one. So like, y'all remember that found footage movie Quarantine back in like 08, 09? I think I went and saw that, and the lady brought in fried chicken, like a Kentucky Fried Chicken box, and the whole movie was going like making like legit, like you like couldn't believe it that this was actually happening, and she was making like noises the whole movie, and I was like, this kind of makes it better. Like, this movie sucked. But
you gotta be positive about it.
But it was like, that's an intense food choice to bring in the theater, is a bucket of chicken. Like,
it's bold. It's very bold.
Not bring in snacks. Like, I'm sorry. Like, no.
You would hate my grandma. We'd bring in
my own mother does it.
And like her bring the biggest purses ever, sneaking in like
what she brought in like a plate of lasagna. Like, what does she do?
Dude, and she would bring in stuff like that. It's crazy.
That's just wrong. Man. She's like passing out paper plates to everybody. All right, y'all get yourself a slice before it's gone.
That's exactly how.
Dude, I'm uncomfortable.
Oh. I'm like, Mimi, shh, stop it. Shh.
Stop. Stop it. I think I don't even think I said like what snacks, but mine's pretty much the same as Brandon. I have to, and I normally wasn't a pickle guy till recently. Josh, my brother, has always been a pickle person. Like I think he picks pickle over everything. Like pickle over popcorn. He just needs the pickle.
Just get a pickle. He'll just get a pickle.
Did you know that's
sometimes.
regional to Texas though? Jackson, is there any pickles out there in California at the theaters?
You know, I don't think. I haven't seen any. And again, I never get pickles, so I wouldn't know.
You got to get a pickle. Oh, you got to get a pickle.
I don't like pickles, really.
Huh?
Who hurt you?
Who hurt you? When I see
like,
people getting pickles, no pickles, I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, who
it's
hurt
like cheese. I like cheese on things. I don't like eating cheese by itself.
This is on something. This is a pickle on popcorn goes on top of, you bite it and you put a little on top.
No,
that's my sister. My sister lives for that snack.
Oh, it's so good.
And she has to have her pickle and popcorn.
I eat pickles with chips. I take Lay's. I put the pickle on top of the chip. Insert into thy mouth. Thy enjoy after thy taste. It's delicious.
And you called me out for red vines.
You try it and you try it and you tell me that's not the tastiest thing you've ever put in your.
I'm almost sure it was Josh who thought popcorn, pickle, and Dr. Pepper tasted so good together that he blended it all together.
Him and my mom blended it, thinking, well, if it tastes good in my mouth, why wouldn't it taste good outside of like blended? And he like, I think he threw up whenever he had it. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he threw up.
He wasn't the brightest guy. Let's just say that. He wasn't the brightest.
Hey, no judgment here, okay? When I was a kid, I tried to dip some carrots in some ketchup, and I tried to eat it, okay? I was a weird kid, okay?
How was it? You still do it to this day, huh?
It was disgusting, okay?
Oh, what I would do is I would take ice cream with chocolate syrup on it, and I would stir it until it was all a liquid.
Wait, I still do that.
Oh, you still do that?
Yeah,
it's delicious.
Well, then maybe I'm not as weird as
That's called a milkshake.
It's called a milkshake.
Add a little milk to that. You got yourself a milkshake, baby. You got a stew going.
You got a stew going. That's funny.
You throw a little potato, a little onion. Baby, you got a stew going. Does anyone know that reference? Does anyone know that reference? Carl Weathers. There you go. And baby, you got a stew going. It's so funny that he gets hooked into the whole food part of everything. He's like, how's the catering there? And the thing, he's like so hooked on the food. Like, how's the food going? Baby, you got a stew going. Oh, you don't throw that. I think he's holding up a piece of bone, like a bone with a little meat on it. He's like, you don't throw that away. You take that home, throw it into a pot, a little potato, a little onion. Baby, you got a stew going. Hey, what are we doing? We don't talk about TV on this podcast.
I was going to say, I think for like the newer generation, I think the sentiment is still there. You know, I like, for instance, reaction videos. I think the idea is experiencing something that you love with someone else, seeing their joy that they get out of it at the same time, I think kind of elevates the experience in the same way that being in a theater surrounded by people who are there to see it and feeding off of their excitement and happiness. I think it's the same kind of idea. You know, I think it's just a generational thing. You know, theaters being closed for a while, maybe not being as interested, but I don't think this is the end for theaters at all. I think the need for it will always be there. The emotional need, you know, to see something, because watching something alone is just different. You know, seeing a funny moment with someone that you love next to you or one of your good friends and laughing together is just, it's one of those things that you just can't replicate. And I think that theaters will be around for a long time just for that reason alone.
Do you think that a theater experience can heighten, or if the audience collectively, you could tell are not digging the film, do you think that could ruin a film, and vice versa, a bad movie could be better amongst people who maybe are laughing more? Maybe it's a bad comedy but everyone's laughing. Do you think that it heightens and lowers the experience? I mean I would think so, but what do you guys think about that?
I think it can. I think it can. I mean, for me, if I like a movie, I like a movie, no matter what else is going on. But if the movie is kind of lackluster where it's not, but the crowd is very into it, it can definitely raise that bar for the movie for me. But if everybody else is not digging the movie, but I'm still digging the movie, then mainly if it's a lackluster movie and the crowd's like hyping it up a little bit more,
Yeah.
then I'm more into it.
Yeah, I talked briefly about seeing Batman vs Superman, and we talked about it on this podcast for a second. But a dude behind me, and it wasn't like behind me. It was like I was in the last row of the front rows, and then there's the aisle that runs to like then the next front row starts. He was in that one, and I heard him the whole movie going like, what? Like these like sounds of like disapproval through the whole thing, and it ruined the movie for me. Like, not that the movie was like it was gonna be the best movie ever, but hearing someone do that the whole movie really hurt the film for me. So I think people around you do infect that. So maybe I wonder if people are hesitant. No, there's no way people even think about that deep into it. But I'm just wondering, like, will the new generation of people like my daughter accept a movie theater experience? I hope so. Maybe it's all about taking those kids to the theater, Zach, and you showing them the joys that they can have there. Maybe that's all what it's about.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. Because
show them the way.
Mm-hmm.
This is.
I hopefully, when my daughter's old enough, I would like to take her to see the latest Marvel movie and share that experience, with her, and that's a lot of the things that bring me and my dad are closer together are movies, are the TV shows and stuff like that we watch, and it'd be nice to be able to experience that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, you guys ready to say our goodbyes? Brandon, Zach, Jackson, thanks so much for being on the show. Quick announcement. Next week is going to be our kind of closing of phase 1 of this podcast. I'm currently moving to another house, so during that move we are going to be, but next week's our last show, not this week, but we're going to be kind of pausing the podcast for a little bit, and then when we reboot it, it's going to be kind of branded differently, and we're going to have a couple new shows, including the return of Let's Settle This. We know that's kind of like, even though no one's really watching this podcast yet, as I designed it that way, I wasn't really trying to promote it. So if anyone's watching this right now, hello. But eventually we'll start promoting it and actually trying to get viewer traction. But this was kind of like an exciting experiment that I've really enjoyed, and I think the guys have enjoyed as well. So we're going to want to continue this show with a new name, new branding, and come back trying to gun it forward, trying to make a cool show for everybody, a couple cool shows for everybody, including a couple with Brandon and I, and but anyways, thanks so much for watching this week. Like it, comment below, and we'll see you next week. But I want to let the guys give a little shout out. So Jackson, if you want to shout out some things, you go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is Jackson's Evil Twin. Jackson with an X, not a CKS. And then my band Low Lives, pictured here. If you want to check us out, I think we're fun. We're pretty good. If you want to listen. If not, no biggie.
Zach.
You can find me on Instagram, Zach Avenue. I'm not really on social media that much, but
everyone, it's actually Avenue Zach. He says Zach Avenue every time.
That's how much I'm on it. I don't know, but I'm in a band called Avenue. If you want to check it out, YouTube, Spotify.
Nice.
And then check out Low Lives. They're amazing.
Oh, that's so nice.
Thanks.
I think I'm Brandon Aaron Bonnet on all social media, mainly Facebook and Instagram. I have a trailer out for my new short film that Adam produced, Spitting Record. Check that out. That'd be awesome. And if you're in the Lubbock area, go ahead and come by Ralph's Records. I'm always down to talk movies with somebody.
And I'm at Adam Paul Stone, and check out Brandon's movie called A Spinning Record on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Adam Paul Stone. The film is called A Spinning Record. You'll see it. It's probably, I think it's one of the last things we uploaded. I don't think I said this yet on the actual show, but my daughter drew this amazing picture that she wanted me to share to everybody who are watching. It is a sun up there and some blue sky and a blue ocean here. It's beautiful. She loves coloring and drawing. So if you guys like what you see on her drawing, I don't know, but anyways, that was I wanted her to see that, so I'll show that to her tomorrow. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you on the next one here next week, and talking about Jurassic World actually. So we'll see you then.